Hello there, a warm welcome. Welcome to one of my favourite hours of the week. I think I can say that. Hope you can say that. An hour of sporting chat right here, and on an historical theme this week. We have the managers of the two Sheffield non-league clubs. Bear in mind they're the oldest clubs in the world. The new manager of Sheffield FC, James Colliver, and the old manager, he's still surviving, of Hallam FC, Ryan Hindley, who somehow is on his third visit to this programme. A debut, though, for Sheffield's, dare I say it, oldest football writer. I hope he takes that in the right spirit. Michael Morgan. We need somebody old enough and wise enough to put into perspective how good Sheffield Wednesday are at the moment and how bad Sheffield United are at the moment. We think we've got just the fella in Michael Morgan.
Well, you've certainly got somebody old enough. I don't know about wise enough.
We'll check that out. And just before we introduce these guys, what's the story here? 10 rounds with who?
10 rounds with a couple of Labradors who are a little bit giddy. They're only young, and I was having a bit of a play fight with them yesterday, and one of them dived between my legs, tripped me up and sent me flying headfirst into the stairs.
That would never have happened in the prime of your career, would it?
And if you believe that, you'll believe anything.
OK, Mike. We've got, talking about horror pictures, we've got an even more horrific one coming up from the 1970s involving both of us two. Meantime, Ryan, good to see you yet again. And James, first, and congratulations, James, on landing the Sheffield FC job, which is very prestigious.
It is, yeah. Delighted, first and foremost, delighted to get the role of Sheffield FC. It's been hard work over the last few years, managing my previous clubs and gaining that vital experience. It's been hard graft, but I think people have recognised that. And I've been speaking to the chairman and Chris Dalby, who's around the place. It was just an offer, really, that I couldn't refuse, and it's something that I'm really passionate about, managing my own city. So, yeah, I had a great result last Saturday. And then shooting straight after training tonight. So, yeah, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, first home match, 3-1 against Gresley.
3-1, yeah. I thought the application of players and the endeavour and the work rate were spot on. And if they give me that for the remaining 11 games, we'll be really happy. So it's just a case of finishing on a high this year and then looking forward to next year and getting a pre-season under my belt. I've got a lot of players that I know from local areas what I can hopefully attract to, like I said, this prestigious club. And people want to play for Sheffield FC. So yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward, really. Not looking at the league position. We're just taking each game as it comes, and hopefully finish on a high. And then we'll be moving into pre-season and then hitting the ground running next year.
Ryan, do you know this fella?
No, never seen him in my life. Unfortunately, I've had it. That is a joke, by the way. I've had him in my life for 28, 29 years now. So yeah.
Bit long, too long.
Best man at my wedding. Yeah. Well, we won't be best friends when he says he still knows a lot of players locally. He better not be coming for any of mine.
You're competing for players.
Yeah.
Could be in the same market. You're not in the same division.
No.
But it is a friendly rivalry because seriously, you go a long way back. It grew up together as kids. Yeah, it's remarkable that. Mm-hmm. And here you are, opposite each other. Yeah. And you've, if I can put this in the most respectful way, you've survived two Sheffield FC managers already, haven't you? Mick Wadsworth, I think, and Andy Kawamia.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he's going to put a jinx on you there.
I hope not.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think James will be there for the foreseeable, and no doubt with the abilities he's got, he'll go higher.
No, you said that. I'm regretting coming on the show. I don't know if I'm going to be in a job come end of season, but no, it's we bounce off each other, really. We share ideas. After Saturday's game, we got together, had a bite to eat, had a drink, and we were going discussing through players and how things went. So we do work together, and I think that's the best way forward. And I've got a player coming tonight who is coming back from an injury. He's currently registered with Ryan, and he's going to get some training time with us and maybe looking at some minutes for our under-21. So we are sharing and trying to work together.
All right, we'll come back to how things are going for both of your teams during the course of the programme. Mike Morgan here for background. A lot of you will know that he writes for the Sun newspaper, has done for a long time, currently on a freelance basis. Before that, Daily Express, Daily Star, Sunday Mirror as well, that you're involved with it. It's quite a long list. And
all the quality papers.
And you go back. I was going to give you the benefit of saying that you go back to the early 70s, 1970s in this.
You're
era.
determined to rub this in about my age, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm afraid I am. Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah, you're in here because when I get called, I'm getting called veteran journalist these days. I'm not so sure I like it, but I mean, the word for you is experienced. Then,
I prefer doyen. I think that's better
Doyen.
than
doyen of football
yeah,
writers.
Yeah, that was
So 1969, you started.
69. Yeah, I joined the Daily Express in 1969. I was only 7 at the time. No,
Yep.
I was only 20, so it wasn't far off. I was.
That was a quality paper.
I was one. Yeah, it sold 4.5 million a day when I joined. Now it sells about 300,000, I think. But,
Amazing slide. Yeah.
the written media is on a downward cycle, a decline, and I think that's only going to continue with social media the way it is now. I don't think that the readership of newspapers is getting smaller and smaller by the year. I mean, even the Independent, when you look at them, they were selling something like 500,000, I think, when they first started, and now the written paper is going to the wall, and I think the circulation is something like 28,000 a day.
Yeah, it's frightening. Do you two guys read newspapers, or do you get everything off the internet?
It's a mixture of both, really. To be honest, I read it when we've won. But I've seen today that Grassroots, which I think is a fantastic advert for local sport. Obviously, Ruth, who's been on here with me, writes in that, and the great job that Paul Webster does is now being cut from 16 pages to 8. We've already lost the Greenan. It's a travesty. It's a fantastic thing that people like to read. Your Sunday morning players like to pick it up, and if they've scored goals, they'll be able to see the names in lights and everything else, and read through the sport and everything that's happening in local football and running and rugby, cricket, whatever it might be, to just go to nothing.
I think I agree with what you've said, though. It's all down social media. I remember every Sunday morning you wake up, you go and buy the Greenan, you go and buy a non-league paper, you walk to your nearest shop. Now it's all there. You just click on your mobile phone or your iPad, and you've got it in front of you. So it's.
I used to wait for the Greenan. I just couldn't wait for it.
Yeah.
I used to
7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Back and forth, thinking it might get delivered early. But
It does still have its light-hearted moments, though. I mean, I recall a year or so ago, because I work for the Sun on staff for 20 years, I'm not allowed. They don't want me to be bylined in any other paper. So when I work for other papers, certainly the Mirror Group papers, I'm Bill Cooper.
Now you know, folks.
But the funny thing is, the other season I did a game, and some guy, I can't remember where, I think it might have been at Leeds, and some guy came up to me and he said, "You're Mike Morgan, aren't you, from the Sun?" So I said, "Yeah." He said, "I hate you." He says, "You're rubbish." He said, "In fact, there's only one person worse than you, and that's that Bill Cooper who works for the Sunday Mirror."
Do you remember talking of names when Dave Bassett was in charge at Sheffield United, and there was a Mail on Sunday reporter called Lynn Callaghan? Yeah. Okay, Lynn Callaghan. So I'm sure Dave mentioned it to you.
Yeah.
He asked me as well.
Yeah.
Who's that bird, Lynn Callaghan?
Yeah, those are the exact words to me. Who's that? And that bird, Lynn Callaghan.
And it was a bloke, L-Y-N. Yeah. But I mean, there are some very good female journalists. Well, look, we won't get too far away from the Blades and the Owls, because I know that's what people want to hear. And in all seriousness, there's nobody better to put into perspective the fortunes of the two clubs than this guy, because you've seen it all. Over the years, you've seen the highs, you've seen the lows. Perhaps more lows than highs, I would guess.
I'm afraid so, yeah. I mean, that's the way. I mean, I look at, certainly the 1971 promotion team at Sheffield United, who were superb to watch. They're a great side. The Sheffield Wednesday teams of Ron Atkinson and Trevor Francis, who were equally good to watch. But, for a city which is the 4th biggest in the country, to have 2 big professional football teams that have been starved of the success that the Sheffield clubs have, it's a disgrace, really. We should have 2 thriving, successful clubs in this city.
Any theories as to why we haven't?
I honestly don't know. I mean, people say, it can't be anything to do with it being a deprived area, because you look at Merseyside, you know, that's a much more deprived area than Yorkshire. And yet they've got 2 successful football clubs.
Indeed.
I honestly don't know why it is. I mean, they both get healthy attendances. They both got very loyal and lofty fan bases. I don't know whether it's just this Yorkshire trait that they don't like spending their brass. I don't know.
Well, plenty has been spent at Sheffield Wednesday this season. I mean, Sheffield United is a very big subject at the moment, so we'll come on to that, part that off. I mean, perhaps the easier one to address is Sheffield Wednesday, where it all changed last summer. I must admit, to start with, I wasn't sure it was changing for the better, but now I have to hold my hands up and say the owner's delivered. I think what he said he would deliver so far, and so has the head coach. What do you make of it?
I certainly agree. Mr. Chansiri, he does what it says on the tin. He came in, pledged support financially, and every promise he's made, he's delivered on. You know, they've got quality players, they've got a quality manager, they're playing quality football, and I can't see them certainly not missing out on the playoffs. I think they're stitched on to finish top 6.
So do I. I've thought that for a long time.
I think they're a pretty good bet to go up anyway.
Yeah, I know. Talking before the game, the programme, it is a game. You two are both Blades, but you were talking with great admiration about Sheffield Wednesday and the team. Your mates might not like it, but just Ryan,
I think it's.
Why do you think
they can replace quality with quality? You know, I think you saw the night. I think they brought Bannon off and put Ross Wallace on. You know, so they're replacing quality with quality. People have their differences about you. I thought he came on and did excellent, and they've got, you know, they've got other people as well. You know, you're looking at Forestieri, you're looking at Hooper, obviously the Portuguese lad as well. So yeah, they've got squad in depth, and you know, testament to the guy. I thought they were in innuendo when you said but exactly what it says on the tin, meaning tuna, but but no. But yeah,
well, I was going to say there's something fishy about him, but
but no. You've seen it in football. You two have been in it long enough to see when chairman's come in and promised the earth and delivered nothing. He's delivered, and like I said to you before, his fans were very disgruntled and upset about ticket prices, but I'd go and pay more to watch Sheffield United win football games. And if you're heading down to Hillsborough, I think they've lost 1 game at home all season. So, in my opinion,
it's the strength in depth, isn't it? It's the strength in depth and the cash that they're throwing at it. They've got a chairman who's backing the manager, and they're getting not as many fans, but they're getting the fans in. And there's a real buzz around the place. I've got Sheffield Wednesday fans as friends, and they're delighted with what they're watching. So if they're watching a good product, they're going to pay the money. They're going to go back and watch. On the opposite side of the city, obviously, we're not getting value for money. Not me, because I get free tickets anyway. So,
and even you're not
and I'm not happy. No.
All right, we'll come to that in a moment. Just put these two guys in context first of all. Ryan, you sent me a snap from a few years ago. Handsworth Boys. It's going to appear on the screen, and we'll have a look. And this is how far back you two go. I think it was taken in the 1980s or whatever. Here we are.
87,
so you two are both on that. Ryan, first of all, which is you?
You can identify Ryan easily there.
I'm the one that's half boy, half mushroom. So yeah, if you look, I'm trying to think back left.
Where he usually puts his free kicks, top left.
Oh, good lad.
Yeah,
we'll come on
top left.
So you're top left.
Yeah, with
top
the cold
left
sore.
on that picture.
Yeah, that's
okay.
me.
That's you. And
I'm on the front, third from the left. So you've got.
So you're in the middle, playing in the glasses there.
Next
door.
No, yeah, and I think I'm younger than the rest there.
No, John Shaw's the youngest. John Shaw was at Sheffield Wednesday.
I remember him.
Striker here. That's John next to the guy in the glasses. Between the two guys.
So friends ever since, but always friends, or a few scraps over the years?
No, always friends. Apart from when we play against each other at football, sometimes it gets a little bit heated, but that's life.
Nature of the beast.
We still love each other after, but yeah.
And it does get heated at the moment at Bramall Lane. You and I were there the other night, and I have to say, I've seldom seen a worse performance than that one in the second half, especially.
well, it's the first time I'd done a game there for a while, and I must admit I was shocked because there didn't seem to be any structure to the way they were playing. There was certainly no pattern to the way they were playing. They must have changed formations, 3 or 4 times in the course of the game. And nobody seemed to know what they were supposed to be doing. And it did come as quite a shock. And then, you know, when I looked at the quality or lack of quality in that division, and you look at Sheffield United's squad, albeit an overblown one at the moment with far too many pros, you know, there's the quality there that, you know, should see that team, for me, you know, racing away with a very mediocre league. I mean, League One is a poor league, isn't it, this year? There's not a Wolves or a Bristol City. There's not an outstanding team in it.
Which is why, and I fully agree with you, that within that squad there should be top 2. We're not talking about top 6 here.
Well, people say to me, Alan, the Nigel Clough detractors say to me, you can't blame Nigel Adkins because he was left a load of rubbish. Well, that load of rubbish got to 2 cup semi-finals, and from looking at going down to League 2 to the playoffs. So either Nigel Clough is a better manager than we all thought he was, you know, to do that with a load of rubbish, or people have got it wrong.
I think the attempts to denigrate Clough, thinly veiled from the board, have been disgraceful, frankly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, that he came back the other night, and although I didn't wish a defeat on Sheffield United, from a personal perspective, I was quite pleased for him, personally.
Well, I've got to say I was delighted, because I was sick of hearing a certain section of the fans at Bramall Lane tagging him negative Nigel, because the last thing he was on Tuesday night was negative. You know, Burton could have won that. They went for it from the word go. They could have won it by 2, 3, 4 goals.
And leading on from this squad should be a lot higher is why a lot of comments have been made about the manager now, Nigel Adkins, which I suppose you'd expect. And yet, he hasn't had one full season yet. And you look at the number of managers Sheffield United have had over the years. Isn't that the reason why they're in this mess now?
Well, of course it is. There's, you know, nobody's been given the opportunity to build anything, because if you go back to when Neil Warnock left, they've had 8 managers in as many years. Well, if you're not getting continuity, you're not getting the opportunity to build, you're not going to get success. And along the way, they've sacked 2 managers, Danny Wilson, with 5 games of a season to go, which I still cannot believe happened.
No.
He had a win ratio percentage of 53. Nigel Clough had a win percentage of 48. And they've both been sacked.
Yeah, Kevin McCabe.
You know, where is the sense in that?
Kevin McCabe did have the good grace in an interview I did to say that he made a mistake over Danny Wilson. He didn't go that far with Nigel Clough. What do you two guys make of it? I mean, surely Nigel Adkins has got to be given that's only my opinion, a transfer window in the summer, albeit he made mistakes in the last summer one.
For me, pre-season, you look at Nigel Adkins coming in, you go, and me, I was included, I were delighted that he got the job. And I don't get to see it that often, but when I do get to see it, it's been dire. There's no atmosphere, there's no sort of commitment, work ethic, and it's dull, and I think that comes from the manager. So for me, I hold my hand up and say, I think his time's up, and I'm not up for changing managers season by season, but I'm just thinking, you look at the players that he's playing, and the majority of now his players, and the players that he's signed, are no better than what were there last season.
What's your view, Ryan?
Well, I think it seems like The Walking Dead, in my opinion, is that it's a common thing that a manager always comes in and says, I'll take the pressure off the lads, I'll do everything else. But you've got to be feeling that pressure now. You know, you've got 18,000 people there.
But they've actually said for the first time, we're going to put a stop to this. And he's our manager next season, which on his record, he should be, shouldn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when, you know, I was a great supporter of Nigel Clough, and I remain that way. But when he went and Nigel Adkins came in, my opinion was, based on his track record and his CV going back to Scunthorpe days, there was nobody better qualified to take on the job than him. And I still stand by that.
And me too. I've got to stop there, but we will return to this in the second half. We're coming up to an ad break. It's going to be about 5 minutes, time for a cup of tea or whatever. But do rejoin us for more on the Owls, the Blades, Sheffield and Hallam. See you then.